So today we got to play Ready, Set, Bet. So yesterday was the Derby, and we are very close to Kentucky, and so we had to get this game out to enjoy the races. If you haven't watched it, we know who won. But before we get into it, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell because board games are amazing. And that's what we do here at Legends Nirvana. Now, Ready, Set, Bet is an AEG game. Can you tell us a little bit more about it?
So this is a 2022 release. Matter of fact, I got to demo it at the Gen Con last year with the AEG press group. And it has a Board Game Geek rating currently of 7.5 and a Board Game Geek rank of 1082. It's kind of a party game, and it plays up to 9 players, 2 to 9 players.
Right, which is actually a really nice thing, because a lot of party games, they max out at like 6, maybe 8. So getting that 9th player, I think, is very helpful.
Yeah, although I will say that it's actually technically 8. The 9th player kind of serves as the kind of the DM, if you will, rolling the dice.
I gotta admit, I think that's the one I would want to play.
It was fun. I mean, I didn't mind it, and you can actually bet because you can place advanced bets as it. This is actually a very versatile game, which we'll get into. It plays 45 to 60 minutes. I think that's actually long. I think it goes fast. It goes really fast. Age 14 up. I honestly don't know, except for the fact that people might have an objection to children betting. 14 and up. This game is very simple.
I think due to the nature of it,
yeah,
I wouldn't particularly care for playing for this one. So I get that.
So designed by John D. Clare, art is by Kirk W. Bulkendorf and Athena Kegel. Again, published by AEG Games. MSRP on this is $39.99. Right now, CSI appears to have the cheapest, Cool Stuff Inc., for $29.99. Card House has it for $31.99, and Venture Market has it the same price, but they're out of stock. So Card House has it in stock, and Cool Stuff has it in stock.
Okay. All right, so let's talk about quality of components. You have your cardboard betting chips, all of some different denominations of how much you're kind of placing your bet for. You have some cards. They do not have linen finish. The thickness is kind of okay. There's not a lot of shuffling involved. Yeah. It's not that big of a deal. And then you do have these money tokens. We didn't end up using the money tokens, I believe.
No, because we use our real poker
chips. Yeah, they're
they have a slight linen finish.
So overall quality of component. Well, and then the racetrack.
You do have screen printed horses. They're pretty cool.
So because of the screen printed horses, I'll probably give this a 6.
Yeah, I will give it a 6. Mainly, I would probably get a higher. But what irritates me, they have prop bet cards that you place. This is just an annoyance of mine. They printed one side one direction and the other side opposite direction. So when you flip the card the normal way, it's upside down. And that's kind of annoying.
Yeah.
I don't know why they didn't print it correctly, but it works. I mean, it's functional. It's just annoying.
It just depends on the way you flip. Because if you flip this way, it's
fine. But most people would flip. I mean, these cards are not flipped upside down when you turn them over. Why would those be?
Well, okay.
Yeah.
So let's then talk about the actual theme of the game. Well, obviously, Ready, Set, Bet. You are at the horse races, and you're going to try to place bets throughout the race so you can get the most money. But you got to be careful because if you don't place fast enough, other people are going to take your bet, and you can't take the same bet as other people. On that other end, though, is if you do too early, you don't know who's in the lead. So it's kind of this when do I place the bet at the right time kind of feel to the game. The theme, I think, is very inlaid in the game because you're literally, there is a horse race going on with the dice. You're trying to place a good bet. There's the show, place, win. I don't know if there are a lot of people familiar with horse races. The terminology is right in line with it, and it feels very derby. I think this is...
the bets don't work the same way. I mean, when you invest in a normal bet, whatever you bet, you pay up front. This one, you actually pay less than what you're actually betting, so it's not quite the same, but it does have the same types of bets.
It has the same feel to it.
You can't do exactas or trifectas or things like that in this game.
It's just, win, show, place. So with that, with the theme... I think the theme is actually pretty good. I'm going to give it a 7.5.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna probably give it an 8 just because the calling of the race. I mean, it's kind of what you get in, what you get out, what you put into it. Because if you get somebody who's into the calling, I think it adds more fun.
I will say when you played because there is an app that gives you a couple of races. Yeah. The app I think would have upped the theme for me to that 8 because having that caller was very interesting. However, I'd probably be the one.
So you're saying I sucked at being calling the race?
No, you did good towards the end.
Towards the end, okay, good to know.
But so I think overall, you just have to practice. It's okay. It's okay.
Now, I will say I think the betting works more like roulette than it does actual horse racing, and that's one of the things I don't like about it. I think it takes away from some of the theme a little bit, but I still think it deserves an 8 because you've got the look of if you go to the Churchill Downs. You see the boards there. They look very similar to the board itself. And the speed of the race being called and the fact that people are placing their bets fast, especially like when Heather was here, she was getting into it towards the end, rooting for her horse to come in.
Right. Well, and I think there's something to be said about if you have a really energetic group, I think this game is very successful.
Yeah.
Because the theme just really imbibed. So you gave it an 8, I gave it a 7.5, but I could totally 8 makes sense. So let's move on to the actual rule book.
So the rule book is super short, it's 8 pages long.
Well, it is pretty straightforward.
Well, it's straightforward, but it has a lot of ways to play, as I mentioned. Mm-hmm. So the standard way is one person is the caller, and they roll the dice, and then they're going to, move the horses up, and they're calling out what happened each turn. They roll the dice, and there's no, it's on real time, so everybody's placing their bets. But you can also have the caller play along if you want them to play. They place their bets in advance. So that's in here as an explanation. There's rules for that. There's separate rules for if you use the app. I mean, there's different variants of how to play, all explained in here. And there's also, you can rotate who the caller is and ways to do that, with the races. So it just gives you a lot of options on how to play this game. And I think that's good. It makes it more inclusive, so you don't have somebody feeling like they're setting out of the race or whatever in the game. So I think it's, the rulebook does an excellent job explaining the gameplay very quickly, but also explaining all the variants. So I'm going to go ahead and give it a 9. I think it does a great job.
Oh, well, that's great. Okay, so now let's actually talk about the actual gameplay. So, Randy, you're going to be rolling some dice for me. Okay. So he's going to be the caller again because he's so good at it. So exactly.
You dug yourself into this ditch. So.
All right. So he's going to start rolling the dice. You can give it a go. So the races are going to start.
Probably can't do the actual music because it's probably copyrighted.
We don't know.
We'll assume you'll hear trumpets going that sound very horse racy. All right, so here we go. So, and they're off. And number 9's out in the lead, takes an early lead. And then number 3 bounces up.
So at any point during the race, I can choose. So like 9 is already getting going. So, I may end up wanting to place 2 times on the show. So there are a couple of other bets besides your show, place, and win. So there are your exotic finishes. So every race, there's total of 4 races in the game. There'll be a new one out. And so in this particular race, it's a tight race. All horses move 6 or more spaces. That never happened in any of the games we played.
No, that's not true. The last race was very close.
No, because there was one behind. There was one that didn't get 6. It was 4. And then you have the ones up here. So the ones up here, for example, this one says 9 is further along than 8. Okay. And there's some other wins. You also have the red, orange, blue wins, and then 7 finishes 5th or worse. So all of those are options that are on the board. Now, over the course, Randy's going to keep rolling. Oh, I am now. No, you're just going to...
I thought the race got paused due to bad weather.
No, but the race, so eventually 3 of the horses will pass the red line. Once that occurs, you are not allowed to bet. So you want to make sure to place all your bets before that red line hits. And then the race immediately finishes as soon as one of them passes the finish line. So if we want to redo that board so you can kind of move some things up.
Oh.
Woohoo! The travel!
Wow, this is a close race. They're all up front.
All right, move a couple forward, get them past the red line. We need 3 across the red line.
Well, then the game will be over if I do that.
Yeah, exactly. That's kind of the point.
Oh, you want the game to end. Okay.
All right, now get 12. 12 is behind.
Oh, you want to give 12 the advantage here? Okay.
We're going to let 12
We're
win. We're going to let 12 win.
We are?
Yes.
Oh, did you bet on 12?
No.
Oh, okay. Hey, 12 won the race. What do you know?
All right, well, first let me hold up.
No, bets were frozen. You can't do that.
I'm doing it now. So I'm just going to show people how things work.
They don't work this way. You don't get to place your bets after the race is over.
No, you don't. But, here. All right. So if I were to place these bets before he ended up winning, but you're going to go through, okay? So, for example, first place was 12. Now, 12, I ended up saying that they were going to win.
Yeah, we put a marker on each one to mark. So first place was 12, second was 6. And
I didn't get
third was 7.
Yeah. I only got 2 of these. This is the worst betting I've ever done, and I already knew what the race was.
Yeah, you called it.
All right. So this one has 9 times 5 if 12 is going to win. So 12 did end up winning. So I'm going to get 45 money for this one.
Yeah.
But then, see, I voted on 9 and I didn't win. So, but there's no negative penalty, so I can just take this off the board. 8 did not win. I did a 3 on the 2, but it's worth -4.
So they won out of that money.
Yeah, so we lost 4 for that. And then third place, so 7 was not first, so I ended up having a penalty of 2. But then it was in show, so 3 times 1, I got 3 points. So that's one round. Now, the one thing I did like, so that was the first race. So then you'll go to a second race, you'll restart the horses, you get all of these back, and then
we would
reset
wipe the prop bets.
Yeah, the top board. You'll place another card, and then everyone gets 2 VIP cards, and you choose one. This was my favorite part of the game.
Yeah.
I wish we would have started out with one. I liked being able to kind of choose some additional things that are happening during the game.
You like to cheat, so...
Right. So, that's not it.
They let you break the rules of the game, so...
Well, it just makes it more interesting.
I agree, it does.
So, I think the VIP portion was actually my favorite part of the game, and I wish you got 2 cards at the very beginning, not just in round 2, 3, and 4. So, that's my snippet, my comment on that. And overall, I did end up winning the game. Woohoo, I'm gonna get better. No, I just knew how to wait until the right time to bet. And then that last round, I could place bets after everything finishes the red line. So that was super helpful, which I liked. It allowed to bend the rules a little bit. So what are your thoughts about the game?
I thought it was an entertaining way of engaging. It's definitely not something I want to get out, when it's not Derby time. It's something,
No, this is perfect for Derby, though.
It's perfect for Derby. I mean, it's a great thing. If you like horse racing, this is a great game. It captures the feel and essence of it. And also if you like roulette, because it definitely captures the feel of that as well as on the betting side. But as far as it's engaging for, plays up to, like I said, 9 can be involved. It's really an 8-player game, but 9 can be involved in it. I like the fact that they do have an app, so if you want everybody to play and not be, you would only have 8 players at that point because there wouldn't be another color of betting tokens. But I think it's an entertaining game for a party setting. That said, it isn't a lot to it. You're rolling dice, you're moving the horses, and you're placing bets. So as much as you enjoy roulette, you're going to enjoy this game. If you don't enjoy those kind of things, probably not the game for you. If you like strategy games, this is definitely not that. It's a luck-based, game, and quick to place your bets action. If you get people like our friend Heather who like light games and they like to be, it's fun.
This can be a high energy game.
Yeah,
this can definitely be a high energy game. Just because, who's taking the lead, whatever. Especially if you got a good caller that kind of enjoys kind of that thematic.
Or, and someone other than me.
That's not what I said. You got way better towards race 3 and 4. I think we're just trying to figure it out in race 2 and 3. 1 and 2. Scoring wise, what are you thinking?
I'm probably going to give us a 7. I think it's, for a big group, it's a fun game. for the right people. I don't think it's right for everybody, but if you're one who likes horse racing, I like to go from time to time. I'm not a huge horse race fan, but I like to go from time to time. I'd go broke if I went more frequently, probably, because I usually don't win, but I usually don't come out that bad off either. So I like the...
Oh, no, I have $20 to take to a race, and I know I will not have that money at the end of the day. So.
I've come out ahead a few times, but not often. Mm-hmm. But, I enjoy the thrill of it, and I know that it can get addictive, and I don't want to get addicted to that kind of thing, because, I like the dopamine.
No, we're going
endorphins.
We got plenty of dopamine in this house with all these board games. For you, so you said a 7?
I think I'll give it a 7.
I'll give it a 6.5. And there's a couple of reasons why. So that first round when we didn't have the special VIP cards, I felt was a little lacking. But I'm not a huge party game person, okay? So take that in caveat. But once we started adding the VIP cards, it made it a lot more fun. And then towards the end also, because everyone knew what they were doing, they were getting more excited, and it was a lot more fun when you had that engagement with the crowd. Because you can kind of feel, when the crowd gets involved into a race, it kind of brings up that energy level. So I think that's a valid point for this game.
Also, if you were like hosting a theme night, casino night, or something like that, I think this would be a great game to get out in a situation like that.
You're right. Well, and it's like a derby party, or like you said, a theme night. I think that would be absolutely fun. Hey, get people to dress up to the nines with their derby hats. Have them come and let's do some race. So I definitely can see, because there's a couple now that are derby, related. The Ready Set Bet, the Long Shot, and I think there's a couple others. So it could totally be a game night. I definitely recommend that for that. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us. We had an absolute blast, and hopefully you'll coming out with us again. We'll catch you guys later. Bye.